Hello. Hello and welcome. So we are back for my second commission sample. I do have to clarify. I did do some progress. I had some progress offline, and I'm just trying to make a quick comparison. So this is where I left off the last time, and now today this is how far I've gone. So this is the progress so far, basically. Now before I start, let me just take a quick second to adjust something. I thought that this would be I don't know what I thought actually. I just thought that it would be pretty funny to have this on my stream. Don't worry, it's not nothing outrageous. It's just more of a personal branding. I don't know if you can see that. Unfortunate that the OBS cannot fit too well. Let's just say that it cannot fit well on my laptop screen, so it's really tiny. Oh yeah, I can see it now. I can see it on the stream preview. That is great. I think it would be better without the black background, but I guess we can just stick with this for a while. I don't know where I should put it though. I don't want it to be too obnoxious, but I think I'll just stick it there. Wait, hold on. Wait. Okay, so okay, never mind. I shouldn't have done that. I should make a new media source. My bad. Because just now when my name popped up in the middle of the screen, it's supposed to be my usual AFK animation. So hold on a sec. That should be it. So if but I'm gonna have to delete this. I'm gonna add a new one. Now I can select my name. I wonder if it's a good idea to use like green screen or whatnot. Wait, where did it go? Oh, yeah, it disappeared. I wonder. Ah, okay, hold on. I didn't look that. My bad. I was so confused. Hold on. What's the key for masking? Hold on. I don't know if this will look good at all. No. Everything just disappeared. Okay. Okay then. So chroma key is not a good idea. Let's see. Okay, color key does way better. I'm sorry, I'm just amusing myself. That is so funny. I mean, maybe it's not supposed to be funny. Oh, I don't know if you could hear the ringtone, but I know it's not supposed to be funny, you know. But to me, it is. Mainly because it feels a bit obnoxious to have something moving this much. But yeah, so back to art. Okay, I don't know how many times I've wasted. Hopefully not too much. I don't want to be making a habit of starting stream and then spending a good amount of time not doing art on set stream. But yeah, let's continue now. Okay. Pardon the background noise if you can hear it. So right now my progress, while it may have been far, it is not without difficulty. I think it's just how it goes when it comes to my art. It's impossible, genuinely impossible for me not to spend a good amount of time repeating a certain part of my art. And by repeating, I mean like pressing control and then A, delete. That's just how it is with me when it comes to my art. So yeah, that's what happened when I was doing this offline. Mainly the lips that I had to keep doing that, because there's a certain type of lips that I'm trying to achieve, and my brain is locked onto that one kind of style that's not even natural, I guess. Like, I'm so used to one that's basically just loaded with makeup. Okay, hold on. I think I'm gonna mute someone's phone because they are annoying as fuck. Hold on. It would be nice if I can just, you know, have my own place and live by myself, but there's no such thing as free lunch in this world. Anyway, so about the lips, yeah, so I don't know why I have so many issues with this, other than the habit of constantly drawing them with like very bold colors, like colors that are obviously supposed to be makeup. No, it's not natural lip colors, because obviously natural lips are supposed to have textures, so it should be less of a like very smooth colors. It's supposed to kind of coarse like this, so there's supposed to be texture. That's what frustrates me the most when it comes to my own art journey, is that over the years, due to my constant on and off attempt at art and attempt at continuing art, I tend to, let's just say, improve my theoretical knowledge while my practical knowledge basically lags behind. So even though I can diagnose the problems, my skills cannot keep up with it. I'm pretty sure I've said it on another stream, but yeah, let me just emphasize, because this is not some like quirky funny thing. This makes me want to just yeet my PC out the window sometimes. I think also my problem is the lighter, like the light reflection here, that feels very glossy. Yeah, that's my main problem. Lips that are supposed to be textured, I constantly make them look smooth and glossy. But my hands, or I guess my hand likes to randomly, not randomly, I think it's just muscle memory at this point, where I'll just constantly try to maximize the glossiness. Yeah, see, I just blended the colors again, so I just wasted my time. I think the only way to fix this is to like my new habit should be kind of should be just layering different colors, not overlapping. I almost said overlapping, but that's not how this works. I need to like throw in a bunch of colors at different points, and then later try to use the texture blender. I believe texture blender is supposed to be built in. It's one of Clip Studio Paint's built-in or preset brush. So this one, texture blender, I could just go up and down like this, or I could go circular. So I can repeat that progress again, the process. I should probably mention the fact that I'm not doing this with like complete silence. I also have like audio playing on the background, and that background audio is a bunch of people screaming. I should probably change that. Yeah. I have a hard time deciding what I want to use as background noise, because I have a habit of singing out loud if I listen to music. That I just can't keep it inside. I just have to sing it out loud, and I don't want to do that on stream, because imagine being such a small art channel and then you just keep getting either copyright struck or copyright claims because you keep, singing on stream. Doubly hilarious when your channel is so small but you still get a copyright claim anyway. Ridiculous. So hold on and give me a second. I'm gonna both adjust the mic and I'm gonna adjust the mic and find a less chaotic background sound. Just give me a second. So yeah, now my microphone arm keeps leaning forward. I should probably fasten it later, but for now I have to angle it the other way just to make sure. Yeah, so I thought of getting less chaotic background sound, but then I see videos of people playing Resident Evil 9. Probably shouldn't do that. I probably shouldn't watch that, or I'm gonna get a heart attack randomly while drawing. Give me a second. Alright, so it's still gonna be a bit chaotic, but in a good way, because before it's filled with rage, but now it's gonna be filled with a lot of laughter. If you're curious, I'm just watching a D&D campaign, listening to a D&D campaign. And since I'm by myself, abandoned by my friend again, not by choice, but you know, this is supposed to be a duo stream. But yeah, again, case in point, she's not here, so I'm gonna dump this onto the stream about the campaign that I'm watching. So this D&D campaign is run by Legends of Adventurous, a channel that I've watched for a while now. So I'm sure if someone has a habit of going through YouTube shorts, they would also see their animated shorts. And I'm sure you've also seen the absolute menace that is Bitsy. So the campaign that I'm watching is supposed to be one of their promoted campaign, the one they are trying to kickstart. The previous one they've had was like a Crooked Moon, the Crooked Moon, which is supposed to be kind of like a folklore, a folk horror theme. And this one is supposed to be kind of like a sci-fi version. So the campaign is supposed to be kind of like a preview of what the module would be like, and they're using the characters from another campaign called The Uprooted, and I believe they're gonna play for part 2 later in the day. But for now, I'm just trying to watch the first episode. Yeah, I guess actually I'm also watching because I have the video on PIP, picture in picture. So I guess I'm actually also watching, not just listening. But their previous campaign, Uprooted, was supposed to be kind of like a I don't know how to explain it. The official, I don't know the official description for it, but just from watching it myself, it's supposed to be kind of like a world filled with your stereotypical like what is the trope? It's kind of like a rebellion sort of thing against the world, their world's government. I think that's the essence. Yeah, they're trying to go against the authority. But the characters in that campaign are killed by pedal animals. But because this is Legends of Adventurous, they are more chaotic than they are cute. I mean, they are still cute, but adorably chaotic. And I've seen the, you know, character design before the campaign started, and it is really, really cool to look at. Especially Bitsy, because she has went from covertly unhinged to overtly unhinged, because it's obvious from her design. She looks like a nightmare fuel, your paralysis demon. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about the campaign, because honestly, you should just watch. If you're somehow here listening to me, you should just watch Uprooted, and then this Uproodarama, their Neon Odyssey version. You should watch both. It's funny. I know I know it's not that obvious from my voice, but it is funny. They are funny, especially due to the fact that the dungeon master is Mikey. Like, not even saying that the other dungeon masters are not funny, but my god, the guy playing the DM, Mikey, is just insanely good at playing like very perverted characters for some reason. You know, acting, quote unquote. Let's focus back on my drawing. Right, so another annoyance I have with my drawing is not just the alignment of the facial features, but also, I guess, the angle. I have a tendency of drawing one part of the face maybe a bit tilted, and then while the nose may be correct, but then the lips are like this, so it looks like a impressionist art. That's not what I'm aiming for. I guess if I'm trying to do that kind of artwork, it would be perfect, but no, I'm trying to be anatomically correct, and I'm trying to take the perspective seriously. So yeah, I should probably learn to fix that. What's the term for that? Unlearn? Undo? I guess unlearn would be more correct. So I don't know if it's just me, or like the weather in my area is especially hot lately. I don't know why. But it is quite annoying to have to constantly sweat, because God forbid your house doesn't have like an AC that runs 24/7. Yeah, and the reason why my friend can't join me is because of the very annoying quote-unquote schedule power outage. I told her to just get ready for a protest, because back when I was in elementary, I was still living in my hometown, and there was a time where the power outage was so frequent and so so it lasts for so long that the people in my hometown was like, basically a lot of them gathered together in front of the building for the electrical supply and just hammer them with rotten eggs. And if anyone wants to argue that it's, you know, unruly to be acting like that, mind you, the power outage can last for at least 12 hours. So you can come home from school at like 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and then you would have to deal with no power all the way until 1 a.m. And it's not even for legitimate reason either. The power outage was because whoever is in charge of that for our city's power supply was siphoning the fuel and sell it for their own benefits. Seriously, what would you need to do that you have to shut down the power for 12 hours every single day? I don't know, I cannot remember anymore for how long that happened until the people in my hometown started protesting. But it has happened quite a few times for my friend now. Like not consecutive, but I don't know, once a month at least. I don't know what's with the people in my city here that just loves to steal money or like steal resources that are supposed to be distributed for us, the regular people. I sincerely hope that they are genuinely trying to fix something and not, you know, doing the same thing that the dum-dums in my hometown did. I remember the protest being so bad because my school was near the set building, right? And there were a lot of people on foot on the streets. They were just very unhappy. Who knows what they shouted? A lot of nasty things towards the people. I mean, it's justified. Who the fuck can deal with constant power outage every single day? Even though there was little to no issues with it, just like moments before. And then suddenly for like who knows how long, there's just constant power outage, constant and prolonged power outage. And there were just people crowding the road, the streets, and basically impossible to get home. I remember like having to move very slowly for like an hour or so. Like, yeah, my family was naturally worried as to why like I'm taking so long to come home from school. You know, my childhood is quite something. It's not the most chaotic, but then from time to time there would be shit like this happening. Alright, so next part is just fixing his hair. This kind of like RPG, anime RPG hairstyle. This kind of hairstyle is quite a pain in the ass to deal with. Okay, so a bit off topic from my artwork, but related to YouTube. So I saw that there's a feature now, for a while at least. There's a feature for not just me, but my audience to post in the same community post, my community post basically. On my tab, and I don't know if I've been thinking of opening it, but I really wanna at least get to know a few artists first. I know it's supposed to be for audiences, but I don't know. I feel like it's better to just share it with other artists, so it's not like you have to be an audience of mine to post there. Unfortunately, I believe since it is intended for audiences, if you use it to promote your own channel or your art account, there may not be a huge amount of reach just because I'm such a small channel. If I'm like a large channel, maybe that's a different story, but because I'm a small stream in the vast ocean of YouTube, even if I want to help other artists, it might not matter much. Maybe I should wait until I get a larger audience, and then I can turn on the feature so everyone can post on my community tab. Ooh, I'm gonna go into another complaint territory that has to do with artists, but I'm just gonna sum up what I'm trying to do with my art for now. I'm currently just trying to get the shading, the basic shading for my hair, for his hair, correct first before I move on to another round of rendering. So if you keep seeing like me zooming in and out just to fix the curls, you know why. But yeah, so I'm gonna go back to my point earlier about complaining about artists. I mean, it's not even complaining, it's more of genuine confusion as to why history is repeating itself with artists. I don't know if anyone is a frequent user of threads, Meta's version of Twitter, but I notice a good amount of this posts. To me, it's just an engagement bait, but there are a lot of these posts that call for like art moods, or art mutuals. That to me feels very disingenuous, like very insincere in general, because truth be told, when you're an artist and you're looking for this kind of interaction, you're looking for people to support you, to help you with engagement. But in reality, you're not gonna help other people with that. If you do, that's great, but a lot of people don't do that. They say that they are looking for art mutuals, but it ends at the following part. That yeah, we'll follow each other, but that's it. I'm not gonna do much effort in helping you or liking your art, commenting, blah blah blah. You should do that for me. So that's a lot of pattern that I see on Threads, at least. I don't know anywhere else, but on Threads there are a lot of also follow-up posts from that kind of initial post, usually from different kind of people, of course. There's one that are using that kind of mutual support stick, and then the other group of people that believe in that sort of artist support, artist mindset, but gets fucked over by the first group. And the posts that I see complaining are usually from the second group, right? The people who are actually going out of their way to follow a bunch of artists, liking their posts, and then they don't receive any support back. And it's weird because, again, history repeating itself. That's what I had to deal with back in 2016, 2017 on Instagram, on DeviantArt, where every single interaction felt fake. It's just so you can get some support back on your art. It's not because you genuinely like the other person's art. That's what I think, right? And I believe I've already discussed this before from one of our first few streams with my friend Forrest. But just for a second, think about how you want to move in the digital artist world. Do you think that that's gonna be good for you in the long run? In reality, if you keep doing that kind of I guess forced interaction, you're not gonna have support back. You're not gonna get a sincere help, a sincere effort, sincere support. You will help other people in because you expect help back, not because you genuinely just want to help people. I don't know, if when I follow an artist, big or small, that's because I like their art. Even if they just started and they still learning how to do art, I will still follow them back. Because a lot of the time, even if they're just starting, even if maybe they haven't found their art style, they still have a lot of like potential. Like maybe their coloring is extra good, maybe their anatomy is actually already pretty good, even if they've only learned it, I don't know, less than 1,000 times. And I want to see this kind of artists to keep growing and growing, even if they're bigger than me, even if they're 10 times, 100 times bigger than me. Like, to me, these people deserve support. But if you're the kind of people who are, you know, expecting me to follow, one, either without like even being grateful, I guess, that people are supporting you, or you're seeing people just as like a +1 on an engagement, that's the kind of artist that I would not support. I don't expect people to follow me back. There's no need. If you don't like my art and you follow me back, you're not gonna be able to keep that facade up. So I would rather you don't follow me back. But I don't know, I personally just prefer staying as far away as possible from that kind of like art mood stuff, because I just want to support people who I want to support, whose art I think is great, whose personality I believe is not nasty, and that they will be able to help a lot of people, a lot of other artists as well. And help, I mean like just support. I don't mean like, you have to spend money by their commissions. No need for that. That's a bit too far. And I mean too far because the one receiving said support may get used to that kind of level of effort, and they may start to expect it more and more from their own artist friends. My point for going in this kind of like circular rant is just don't get too caught up with the engagement farming. If people like your art, they will follow you, even if you and I know it sounds pretentious because again my social media account is really, really small in comparison to a lot of artists, but at the same time I don't do this obnoxious follow for follow type of stuff. And my point is that hold on. My point is that you're going to end up wasting all that time trying to give conditional support in comparison to just giving people unconditional support. You don't need to, by the way. You don't need to go on to a bunch of artists' account and start supporting them blindly. Just do what you think is right at the end of the day. Because for me personally, I still prefer like strong support from a small group of people instead of half-ass support from a bunch of people. Get what I mean? Oops. Alright, so apologies. I randomly stopped because, if you could hear like a very loud ringtone for a split second, that's why. Again, annoying as fuck because that is not my phone. It wasn't my phone that was ringing. God, I hate not being able to live by myself. But if I wanna be able to, you know, get my own place sooner, I should get this art finished faster. Alright, so I believe we just need to do the small part of hair here before we can move on to other stuff. So I just realized from the concept art for this character that the hue is a bit more of a cyan blue. It's like that actual icy cold feel. But then again, if I check the 3D model, the hue is more of a baby blue hue. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. Hold on, let me just check, double check. I'm gonna check the 3D model as well, so I'm not talking out of my ass. Haha. Hold on. Oh yeah. It's kind of in between for the 3D model. So in conclusion, my younger self led my current self astray. Yeah, so my older drawing was using a baby blue shade. And this one, if you can see. So now I'm just gonna quickly fix it. Just change the color to more of a colder blue. Is that it? Same with this little hairband thing. They're supposed to be colder. Also, I noticed something quite hilarious from, you know, the from this character's wiki. It says that this character Iona is incapacitated, but that's all it's written, incapacitated, but nothing else. and I believe I skimmed through the lore for him, and there's no like information as to why that happened to him. Or maybe I missed it, but you know how it is in wikis. If it's about like video game characters or show characters, they usually have like a status section that says that whether they're alive or dead. This is the first time I've seen a incapacitated one. At least there's also like unknown, I believe. Like if the series is still ongoing and you don't know what happened to the character due to like being left on a cliffhanger. Yeah, unknown is usually used, but this is the first time I've seen incapacitated. I can't even pronounce the word right anymore. Incapacitated. Yeah, okay. I got it. Hopefully I can at least get this like 70% done. So if possible, I will continue off stream. Oh, oops, wrong tool. I'm gonna select this and this. Then I'm gonna cut, paste, and that will be the end of the hair. And I guess this one I'll just keep it as hairband. Hairband. I don't know why I said it like it's a hairband. Like I'm trying to bend this his hair. I mean his hair is bending. Never mind. What else? Oh yeah. The part of his shirt here has kind of like a pattern. Not a pattern. I don't know what it's called. But I think you'll understand if I drew it. What is this? Oh, irises. Hold on. I'm drawing with my tablet on my legs, so I have to bend down to see. It's a bit off center, so I guess we can just YOLO it. Oh god, YOLO. That's a old term, old slang. God, I don't know what it's called. Can I just call it the accessories? Axe. Then I'm gonna use the same turquoise hue or cyan hue. I believe they're both different colors, but I'm gonna treat them as the same. Let's use red first, and then I'm gonna change the color later. So they have this kind of like zigzagging pattern. So this is one part. This is the other part. Yeah, so I'm not gonna be able to get the shape right for the first time, but you will understand what I'm doing. Don't worry. You have to understand, otherwise I'm gonna look like a fool. So, I already did something wrong. So I'm just gonna mark it like this. This is going to be the black, I guess black ribbon, black string. It's not string, sorry. My brain is failing me. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. There's like a zigzag pattern. But the perspective may not be correct because you know, he's looking up, so ooh, I dropped my tablet, sorry. Okay, good. At least I don't have the AFK icon on, or I'm gonna lose my shit. Now I'm just gonna change the color back. I'm gonna make sure I don't accidentally color everything black, because the other part should be blue. Should be like this. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I believe for this character Iona, his clothing has a Mongolian influence. not just him, I believe the other dragon character as well, Rubinar, but that one might be more of a Tibetan influence. I could be wrong, but yeah, my point is their winter clothing, his winter clothing, has a ethnic influence. I mean, it's really cool to see, so I have no complaint. I'm personally so used to seeing like the top 3 East Asian traditional clothing, so seeing other parts of the world's ethnic or traditional clothing is always cool. The designs are usually very intricate as well. No, it's not just very big, grand design, but they have like specific patterns or drawings on it. It's the same with Iona here, but it's on his sleeves and his lower torso, so I may not be able to display it in my own artwork. Okay, so making sure that I keep the perspective and the proportion correct. And then after this, I should be able to fix his coat a little, the fur specifically. Okay. So I'm gonna start doing what I do best again. I'm just gonna randomly say okay from time to time when I believe that I have successfully fixed something. Okay, and there are also a set of 3 bristles at the bottom of this accessory. The core? No, not the core, accessory. Oh yeah, I mentioned D&D, but then I forgot about another thing. So I guess good timing, good / bad timing, depends on how you see it. But there's also like a really old RPG game that I just revisited last year, that happens to also announced to be rebooted soon. And I guess I can't say reboot because it's still ongoing, like the same game, same devs. Like the game is still actively updated. I guess converted would be more correct, because just so you know, when I said that it's an old game, I meant Adobe Flash Player level of old. It used to be a browser game, and then I believe they've made their homemade kind of like launcher, and they still have the Flash Player. I don't know if they license it, but maybe because it's their game, they just happen to make it on Adobe Flash Player, so it's still theirs and they wouldn't get in trouble. I'm not sure, but my point is, yeah, it's an old game, Flash game. And when I was checking out the new campaign by Legends of Adventurous, I also saw that this game was also about to get rebooted. Converted. I keep saying rebooted. The game is called Adventure Quest Sword, if you're wondering. But I thought that it was like good, perfect timing, because I've been waiting for good news about anything, about any game that I play for a while. So I'm glad to have listened, to my guts with returning to the game and seeing that they're not stuck in the past. They're actually going to update it, upgrade it. No, that's a more appropriate term. They're going to upgrade it. But Flash games were so much fun back then. It's not an exaggeration when people say that good things always comes to an end. Always come to an end, but you get the point. Yeah, so I'm gonna add the bristles. I believe there's a very thin string, and I also believe they are specifically here. And then here, and then also here. So the string is brought out between the gaps of whatever this is, and then they use kind of like a bead, B-E-A-D. So they use it here, and also here. The other one is not gonna be visible. Yeah, most of the bristles won't be visible. Oh yeah, I should remember the perspective as well. Yeah, I think that is fine. So for the bristles, it's a very puffy one. And I believe the colors are pure white. White as the snow. As I say. I don't know, maybe other people have said it. But I cannot remember who might have said it. Ooh, which character from Snow White said that? I cannot remember. The OG Snow White, by the way. I don't mean the live action one, because that one sucks. But I'm not gonna go into the critique of it, because I'm not interested. And by that I mean there are plenty of YouTube videos telling you why it's not great. I don't share the same sentiment as most of those criticism. Mine is more of a grievances with the actresses' attitudes. But yeah, let's not go there. I say that, but I'm sure a few minutes later I'm just gonna give my opinions as to why I think the movie is god awful. Yeah, so for the bristles, I think I should tone down the gray color, because it would be weird to have both light blue and gray as the shades, because it's supposed to be very light and fluffy item, and I'm not supposed to make it like look dirty or ashy. It's conflicting, let's just say. Conflicting color. Oops. Wrong button. Oops. Even more wrong button. Alright, okay. Okay. Then the next result, I have to overlap a little with the first one. think that's... I think I got it. I think that's it. I just need to add like deeper shades later. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna do this and then enlarge it. Then I'm just gonna overlap this again. Remember that this is going, I guess, down in a way, one can say. So the colors will make sense if they are darker at the bottom. It doesn't necessarily have to be like really dark, but if they get a little bit grayish blue, it will make sense. Because you're not supposed to make everything white, but you're also not supposed to immediately put very strong dark color. Maybe except like the back of the bit here, that one where the shadow is expected to be a lot stronger, like here as well. But the part where you can still be hit by reflected light should also stay a bit lighter. Otherwise it would be very odd. Yeah. Make sure to lighten it just a tiny bit, just very, very lightly. Unintended. Then here, yeah, it's still like not visible, so I guess it would be futile to add, because again, not visible. And I'm saying with the bit because it's supposed to be tubular. So the shading should be like this. Like this, I believe. The accuracy is held together by hopes and dreams. So last week I mentioned I did not have the time to play games, and if I do, it's usually just like idle games that I can let it run in the background. But I did give maybe like half an hour or an hour to play one of my favorites. And man, I went back to forgetting virtually everything about the game. I'm talking about Remnant from the Ashes, if anyone's wondering. But other than the innate want to, you know, press the dodge button, everything else I tend to, yeah, I might have forgotten. I don't know if I should open Horizon Dawn Zero next. Unfortunately, I have a tendency of not finishing games. Except Remnant. That game, I don't know how many times I've completed the campaigns. But for games with an actual longer playtime, I unfortunately did not finish because I believe due to the achievements system on Epic Games bugging out, that I thought that I should restart it. I remember spending a good amount of time running around the map trying to knock over the training dummies, but I just could not get the achievement for some reason. I've had the guide. I forgot from which website, but yeah, I have the guide ready and just constantly fast traveling back and forth here and there. But I just didn't get the achievements at all. There were a lot of achievements that I could not get, despite completing them already. Or I was sure I completed them already, but no luck. But I believe with the story, I was close to finishing it. And I believe I've also finished the DLC's story as well. Just the main ending itself. But I think that's just a habit of mine anyway. I do that with other games as well. I do that an unholy amount of times. Oops. I believe the only game with like quote-unquote the most endings is New Vegas, but then again I only finished 2 out of 4, I believe. So I finished the independent New Vegas one and the NCR one. There's still Mr. House ending and the Legion ending. Yeah, but that's the furthest I've got when it comes to quote-unquote finishing a game. I don't know, maybe I'll just keep playing Remnant again. Okay. So I'm just gonna draw kind of like the rough outlines. Same with this one. It looks stiff, unfortunately. Like it does not look like it's trying to wrap around. It looks like it's just struggling to get by. Oh, sorry, I think I might have projected. I mean, I'm not projecting at all. But my point is, it's supposed to look like it's wrapping around the black ribbon. I guess I'm just gonna call it a ribbon. Oops. Oh, still oops. I thought that I've picked the color already, but I didn't. So again, I need to make sure that there is some sort of texture, because it's normal for most fabric items to have textures. Even satin, that's supposed to be smooth and silky. Or silk. There's still always some sort of like very soft texture. Soft, but still textured. I'm not making sense, am I? Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I separated the bristles. I don't think it's too big. I mean, that is the concept art. Make it pretty small. The fur seems separated from the concept art, but I'm just gonna check the 3D model again. I'm just gonna compare it. Yeah, it's pretty much separated. Oh yeah, the bristles is huge in the 3D model. Yeah, so there's no such thing as, oops, there's no such thing as like consistency when it comes to Dragon's characters. I mean, between like the concept art and the 3D model, usually. I don't think it's exclusive to Dragon's as well. I think it's an RPG sort of deal. Probably because of the fact that 3D artists, no, sorry, the concept artist is usually different from the 3D texture artist, or even the modeler. So you cannot be too hard on them. I mean, they're the talented one anyways. Being able to come up with a lot of cool character designs. I'm not jealous at all. I drew on the wrong layer again. Okay. I'm so jealous that I drew on the wrong layer. GG's. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to focus on fixing it, so I might stay silent for a little longer. I think I'm gonna finish the third one and then not dwell on it too much, if I can do that. I think the angle is fine. Then I'm gonna move the bristles again. I'm just gonna keep adding it on. Oops, forgot to turn off the AFK. I'm gonna just double check if the size is similar to the original one. I believe it's fine. Just because, again, the proportion in the concept art is usually quite different from the 3D model. Oops. Make sure the perspective is consistent. Alright, I just remember something. Hold on. Nope. Alright. Okay, continue. So I just had to make sure that everything is going well. I believe I can just do this as well. Oh, I think I drew on the wrong layer again, but never mind. I'm just gonna keep drawing even if it's the wrong layer. I think this bead was also drawn on the wrong layer. That's a really bad habit to have, the constant forgetting, because I'm just very eager to get this one done. For some reason they still look really small to me. It's not supposed to look tiny. It's not gigantic either, but you know, fluffy. That's what I was aiming for, but I guess this will make do. I also need to cut this part. So now I'm gonna finally fix the coat itself, the fur. Oh, I wonder what brush is more suitable for this. This one? Yeah, I believe this one. Because again, it's a, you know, it's kind of fuzzy, fluffy texture. It's not supposed to look too smooth or glossy. I wonder if this works as well. No, it's too light. Maybe I should just make it darker and then I'll try again. I think I fucked it up. So this fur is supposed to be mostly dark with like a speck of light reflecting the fur, and a very small source of light. It's not supposed to be like this huge sheen, huge reflection. Let's see if I add some lighter color strokes, it will look off. Maybe I should put some gaps between. And then they have like random fur poking out. That looks lighter. It looks weird, but I guess we can just fix this part. If this doesn't work, I'll just use the spray airbrush. I think I'll be able to add some reddish color for his hair. I don't know if it will mix. It will make any sense. I guess brownish would make more sense. Brownish red. But I still need to be careful so it doesn't overwhelm like the hair, or overtaken. I believe that's more accurate. Like I don't want people to end up being too focused with the reddish color. I'm also thirsty, so just let me take a sip of water first. I think I'm so used to being quiet that now that I try to talk a bit more, I ended up forgetting to drink because my throat is struggling a little. And even then, I should be talking about the art piece that I'm working on, but instead I tend to start talking about shit that is unrelated to art. And I believe that I should just focus on the art itself. Because when I talk about something, right, I believe I've already said it. I tend to be a bit too hyper focused on the negative part of like a story or my opinion, and I do not like that because I don't even actually have very deep opinion, like I don't have the deeply negative opinion of someone most of the time, and it's not entertaining. Constantly shit talking is not entertaining. Even when I years ago, when I still talk to a lot more people, some people, when they try to like message me, like try quote unquote try to conversate with me, they usually end up like talking about something or someone. Most of the time it's someone in a really negative way, and I do not want to perpetuate that. If I'm angry, I'm still gonna be angry, but if I don't have to be negative, I'm not going to be. Plus, talking about shit that's already unrelated to my art made me unable to focus on my art. So that's another good reason to control what I say. I don't know why. I don't know why this is like flashed through my mind, but it does feel like therapeutic. Before this, it was the drawing and challenging myself live that's very therapeutic. But now, just putting my foot down on my stances on some stuff, and just being honest, like, oh, this is who I truly am. That's kind of help sort myself out a little better. But I do hope that it is not too unacceptable to be talking things that I like, but it's unrelated to art, like my favorite games, what I did in said games. Because other than art, games also bring me a lot of joy, so I want to talk about happy stuff. I think I'm confusing myself. So one side I'm making them very very detailed, and the other one I made it kind of like blockish. I don't make it, I don't make too detailed strokes. Instead, kind of make it a block of colors instead, and then you end up seeing two very different style of coloring for the hairs. Should probably add more depths. I think I lost the original color for the added hue. I wonder what it should be called for like the colors that are in between the base and the shades, like this reddish one that I've been adding for a while. I don't know what it should be called. I think I should add more here. This one is a lot reddish, a lot lighter compared to my first attempt. I think I'll just leave it at that, and then I'm gonna lighten this part. Make sure that I don't go overboard, because again the shadow cannot be too far away from the object that's supposed to be casting the shadow, because the cloth is wrapped by the string, not the string randomly hovering above the headband, the hairband. It will look very weird. I think even with hair, with bangs, I have the really awful habits of like casting the shadow a bit too far away, so it looks like the bangs are floating above, slightly above someone's face. It looks really off. I need to practice the contact point a bit more often, especially I'm trying to open an art commission and I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. I cannot pull that type of shit. This is not art or game related, but it is quite interesting. It's just another nostalgia inducing incident. The original one is more of a quote-unquote drama, but for me I just feel a bit nostalgic. So like there was a thread post about an older person older person on Threads that was talking about rewatching very, very old anime series. One of them is Naruto. So their drama is that someone, I believe my age, accusing the person of lying and pretending to watch the OG Japanese dub of Naruto, even though it's very possible even back in the day. It's just, very time consuming, because back in my day, I mean, I was like 10 years old, 9 years old, but we used dial-up internet, so doing everything is painfully slow. And the person mentioning dial-up, mentioning torrenting, man, they just sent me down to that specific memory lane of having to wait several minutes, just not even several minutes, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes just to wait for a Facebook page to load, let alone downloading anything, let alone torrenting. Very nostalgic. So I've talked about, flash games, and then now dial-up internet. Ooh, but no joke, when I was younger, with this kind of dial-up internet, flash games were just basically my only solace. Because other than my brother's PlayStation 2, I don't really have any other means of like playing games. And then, yeah, a lot of people back in the day were already very creative and talented with the games that they made. But I also remember the game consuming quite a good amount of data. I remember vividly the countless amount of times where our, I guess, internet package would run out because I keep playing this flash game. Like I keep selecting one, opening new tab, like keep doing that, and it eats up a good amount of like bandwidth for us, because the data package was rather small, right? So even loading Facebook and that one flash game would eat up a good amount of like data. So opening several Facebook pages and several of those flash games would just cause my sister, one of my sisters, to be like constantly dumbfounded, like how the hell does the modem run out of internet data that quickly? And I'm like, ooh, do I say it? Do I admit it? Yeah, it's supposed to be like a drama, but I'm just busy reminiscing about the good old flash games era. I believe one of those flash games, right? I believe the name was Machinarium. It was released as a full-on like game, I believe. It's not like flash player package as a game. I mean, it is a game. It's just it was built on ancient technology. But I saw it on Epic Games. It was released again as an actual game, and I was very happy to see it. I believe it was free too for some point. At some point. Either way, good stuff. I hope to see like more and more Flash games being released as actual games, because it was a lot of them more fun to play. Even the that one escape room series, I cannot remember the name suddenly. Oh shit, what's the name? I cannot remember. I may need to just check my library, because I did buy some of them. Hold on. We're gonna abandon our art for a second, and let me just check my library. Oh yeah, and I have 15 minutes left. Just let me have a little break before I continue. So what was the name's game? Cube Escape? Rusty Lake. Yeah, the name Rusty Lake. The atmosphere was always so unsettling. Even though it's 2D, it's just a simple looking escape room. The art style is simple. Some of the imagery was quite scary to me, because I'm actually weak with horror games. So even just a simple 2D escape room game could unsettle, could disturb my soul. But it's a great game, and yeah, again, I hope to see more old school Flash game being re-released as a full game. But I believe other than that, the nostalgia ends here. We gotta get back to business here. See, so yeah, in this part I have to make sure it doesn't look like it's floating. Now this part also is less like it's floating. But the banks here, the middle ones, they are a bit floaty. It's not in contact with his skin, so I should also pay attention to like the darkness of the shade. I really want to be able to make this kind of like messy style of coloring as a routine, but my perfectionist self forbids it. Because a lot of artists, right, a lot of professional artists, they use the typical huge color, like very broad color blocks before adding details, overlapping colors, adding different hues. Even though they look messy, it's really defined. Like defined as in like you can differentiate the shapes, the different shapes, the different parts. I mean, partly because our brain does that on itself. But I don't want to discredit a lot of the artists' incredible talent, incredible skills. Let's say that. I believe talents have a more insulting connotation, and I don't want to take away from this very pro artist skills. I can only strive to be as good as them. But I don't think I should force myself too much. That's like, realistically speaking, even though it's you know, more fitting to have like messy shading for like this fur coat, my brain will always go back to trying to make them look neat and tidy and less fur like. My point is, don't be like me. Be better. Like learn from like this actual pro artist. I think I could serve as more of a cautionary tale. Like, I am not the kind of artist that you should strive to be. And again, I don't want to hyper focus on the fur because it will look less and less like fur if I keep fixing it. Then I'm gonna just lightly layer this with like the darker color, then with the oops, wrong color, and then like the mid tone. Then this one should be the lighter ones. Then this is the highlights. I should be careful with the inner ones as well. The inner part of the fur. I should lock the alpha and add very dark color because, you know, shadow. Not too far out. I should keep it around like this part, just right at the back of his head, and then everything else just light taps, and then more light taps. Oops, unlock the alpha. Need to clean this part up, and then oops, wrong brush, and then go back to tapping. A lot of tapping. I still didn't unlock the alpha, sorry. Just a lot of taps. I will figure out how to fix this side of the fur, because I managed to pull it off with light blue, but I believe because it's, you know, black is such a strong color, the dominating color, it's very difficult to pull it off, for me to pull it off. I should just go with like light taps instead of trying to do strokes. I should just do this like taps. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, I'm tapping a lot. Then lighter colors. Oops, that's red. Then I'm gonna tap the highlights. And in some parts I will pull like a line or two, but mostly still taps. I think I'll be able to use the spray brush and see what kind of effect it has. It's not great. What about noise? I believe it's also not good. Oh, this is the custom airbrush that I downloaded. It's fine, it's fine. How about I use the cloud brush? Yeah, I think this works a little. I honestly should remember to configure some of the basic brushes in Krita, so I feel more comfortable using it, because genuinely you do not need like a bunch of fancy brushes, because I use them in Clip Studio, and even after I configured most of them, at least most of the ones that I frequently used, they still don't give that effect that I truly want. Let's see, the fur still doesn't look like fur, because to me it's like less of a brush problems but more on my eyes. I just cannot decide. I believe the initial tapping strategy is a lot better. As usual, hindsight is 2020. Yeah, so now I'm gonna check the shirt below the coat. But if I can just extend this, shouldn't be too difficult. Oops. Now I have to use a thicker brush. Make sure to add some shadow. But not too dark. We don't want the darker colors, the shadows, to overpower everything. I hope that I'm not using too much like buzzwords. Hopefully not. Also, which part of the body is this? Okay, so I forgot which part is which, because I tend to cut out certain parts and paste it elsewhere, but I didn't change I tend not to change the names, so I will confuse myself. I will clean up the layers later. Sorry, I'm trying to focus, so I'm not talking too much. I believe there's not much details on the arm, mainly because one, it's blocked by the coat. Second, this is a close-up, so yeah, everything is blocked out. But I believe there is an additional accessory on his chest. It's what is it called? You know the kind of like ribbon. No, it's not ribbon. I don't know why I keep calling everything ribbons. The kind of stuff that people that contest winners tend to put over their body. What is it called? I do not know. It's not a sling, but I'm just gonna try to remember. You have to sit here with me and try to remember. I cannot remember. I guess I'm just gonna Google it. Oh my god, it's a sash. Jesus Christ. It's a sash. God damn it. I mean, it's not even that visible anyway, but I will add it for context. Oh my god. You know, there's a good thing that I avoid using LLMs in my day-to-day life, just for scenarios like this. Even though I don't use it, I tend to forget things that I shouldn't forget. Jesus Christ, I can't even remember what a sash is. I am not okay. I'm gonna add the chest somewhere above the shirt. I don't know why I called it undershirt. It's just the shirt. And I'm gonna add sash. It's a bit brownish, red brown, a bit dull. I mean, I guess it's fine if we use a dull color because I don't want to pull attention to there. I want the focus to be on Iona's face. Ooh, that's a very pretty pattern. It's simple, but it's very good. I don't know if I could replicate it. Oh, I forgot to take off the AFK icon again. So how are we gonna do this? It's like diamond shaped, like this. So again, remember perspective. So it's gonna look smaller Oops, wrong color. So I should be fine with this. The inner part. The inner part would be white, I believe. But let's make it off-white. We don't want to again overpower the canvas with too much vibrant or strong colors, even if it is part of the character. I've also seen like a lot of cool art where people were using like the method of not only using bright colors as the foreground to indicate the foreground or the focus, but they actually dim like whatever is not in the focus. But there are also people who I've seen their art. They basically drew like a girl taking selfie, right? In a mirror selfie, bathroom selfie, basically. But the background is equally detailed, I guess. So I think that what's cool is that even though they are very detailed, your first focus would still be the girl taking the selfie. I don't know how they did it, but that is incredible, because for the rest of us, if we try to do that, the focus would, you know, would be everywhere else but the girl. I don't know how he did it. If I can find it, I will try to analyze it. But just based on pure memory, I believe it's because of his color scheme, if I want to guess. Like, even though the texture, the details, everything is there, I believe like even the plants, you know, next to the girl was like pretty dull green. And they had this, I believe the whole drawing had this like kind of yellowish warm lighting. So mixing that with the dull coloring for the background is really good. Yeah, I believe now I have to make sure, like even just the sash, I have to just bit by bit make it less focus grabbing, attention grabbing. Oh yeah, I just remembered while using this pencil that when I was talking about brush, I believe I just forgot to add that while you do not need to have like a bunch of fancy brushes, it is still, I guess, not a big deal if you want to look for textured brushes. If you want that realistic painting feel, you can still look for a bunch of realistic brushes or plugins if you're on Krita, and use that instead. Because I just remember this pencil that I'm using is the built-in, the free preset, whatever it is you call. It's from Clip Studio itself. Like, they provide this brush, and you can just get it from Clip Studio assets for free. It's great if you want to have a more textured, realistic art with it. But I think truthfully, it would be difficult to get like accurate, very fine line if you use this kind of pencil, because it's very asymmetrical. I think it's not dark enough. I think I should add more gray to the off-white, the already off-white. I think next the shirt can just be darker. It's originally white, but with the amount of items on top of it, or at least with how close they are, they should be very dark. I mean, very dark is relative when you know, depending on the lighting source, the light source. You still don't want to make it a bit too dark. You know, this is a bit too dark. I think that's about it. It's 11:15 p.m. here. I think I'll just add some lighting for now and then stop the stream here. Not yet, give me a few minutes. I'm also gonna sort the layers as well. The base outlines the hair. Yeah, I think I have to move this down to just above the base layer, because it will be blocked by the hair. Then I'm gonna add a folder specifically for the clothing, so it doesn't take up too much space. And then I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna rename it to shirt. I don't know, below or base or under or back. Oh yeah, the irises. Gonna add a layer outside of. Oh, wait, I need to add one more more folder. I mean, if I'm not gonna use any outlines anyway other than the eyes, I might as well just change the outlines folders to all. Then I'm gonna dump everything into the all folder and then add a new layer for lighting. This is supposed to be direct lighting. I mean, ambient lighting can be added here as well, but you might need a different layer mode, just because, you know, ambient lighting aren't supposed to be light. Yeah, it's supposed to be slightly lighter than your base color, but not blinding. But the direct light can be blinding if you want. Still gonna lower the opacity. I think my biggest gripe when putting like direct lighting is if the subject has very fair skin. It's difficult for me to make the lighting look nice. Like darker skin, tan skin, it looks nice under bright light source. But already light skin is blinding, actually blinding. I think I can use either I can leave it as is, or I can use like soft airbrush to lightly erase some of the light effect. I think it's cool if you can like make the color bright and pop, but also not headache inducing. But for me, for some reason, I cannot pull it off. So my lighting usually end up looking pretty dull. I mean, personal preference plus just a little bit, you know, lack of skill in looking at what works and what doesn't. I think the biggest challenge for me when it comes to art and improving in art, it's not just the problem with me, but it's problem with like the kind of advice that I give other people, other artists, because I truly believe that methods that may not have worked for me would still work on other artists. Because obviously people who have done it before have already succeeded. I figured that maybe people other than me could also put it off. I figured that I should be careful with the type of art advice that I give others, considering the level that I'm at. it looks really nice. The very like light color for the hair, but I don't know if the overall lighting permits that, because I feel like if the hair is gonna have this like pretty pop light color, every other part of his body should also follow suit. Or is it okay if I just leave it at the hair while the other parts of him have like softer lighting? Realizing, you know, the fact that I talk to myself about a lot of the steps in my art. Now I realize that I wasn't, you know, lying when I tell one, basically my closest friend, that most of the time I spent when drawing is, you know, the thinking, because I've always spent a good amount of time just thinking and trying to decide what's the best step to take. If I want to add maybe some shading here and there, some, you know, color change, it is easy, but usually there's a good amount of time spent on the thinking before I actually execute it. And then there's also other parts that I you know, truly struggle to make it come true, even though I could analyze the issue. But that is life. I've already noticed that I have succeeded in what I want to do far more frequently than, you know, back then, years ago, before I even started my YouTube channel. Now this is just a matter of you know, messing with the layer. If the opacity of the layer, I think this is a lot easier to do with traditional art, because a lot of the time you will leave like the highlights as blank, that you would feel colors on the part where you believe requires darker colors, but for the highlights you'll leave it alone. And then if it's too bright, you will add like very diluted colors to it. But with digital, for some reason, there's extra steps. At least I take a dozen steps to achieve the same effect. Sorry, it seems like I cannot talk about anything positive without self-deprecating. I'm so used to it. I think this works, but I should not make this a bit too bright. Just that very light stroke and then focus on brightening very small parts of his lips here, this lower lip, because it would make more sense for the lower part to be receiving the direct light source. At least with natural lips. Because with makeup, with lipstick or lip gloss, it's normal for both upper and lower lips to have a bright reflection, but with natural, no. All I'm gonna say is no. I think you will understand without me having to explain more. This is gonna be the eyes and brows. Oops. Okay, eyes and brows. I'm gonna lock the alpha layer and change the colors. I think one thing that I realized, right, with my own art style is I believe I would like to keep my eyes looking like this instead of trying to turn it into more realistic version. I think I would like to keep it this way, just look a bit cartoonish, not uncanny, just cartoonish. I almost said uncanny for some reason. Every other part I would like to make it realistic, but the eyes, I don't know, I feel like being quirky with the eyes. And then the final one is just the highlights. I don't know if I should add a specific layer for the ambient shading, the ambient occlusions, is it called? I don't know, I'm just using random words. After I add this highlight, I'm gonna, Google it so I can avoid talking out of my ass. One thing I don't like is talking out of my ass. Because you're supposed to use your mouth to speak. Don't mention how it's a shitty joke, just look at the drawing. I think I got it. No, actually, I think I got it. I don't think I need to add more. I lied. I'm gonna add. I'm still gonna double check and add a bit more offline, but no more cutting, pasting, and fixing. The shirt, yeah, I believe only like the shadow here, the accessory. Now this is more fitting, but I'm gonna add my name. And I'm gonna lower the opacity so it's not too distracting. And then for the face, just a bit more. I'm just gonna add a bit more. Just soften the colors a little. I mean, it's still supposed to be darker and duller, but just soften it just a little. I'm gonna turn off the lighting for a second. And then let the lighting layer take over the lighter colors. For the base one, I'll stick with duller and darker colors. Remember to also lightly erase the parts that are too bright. And again, you don't want to take away. Like, I want the focus to be on the entire face, not just a part of the face. And then just add a tiny bit more, just a bit more. I think I'm just gonna do like a sweeping stroke, and then delete, add and delete. Okay. Maybe the location of the highlights can be. No, I should be doing this instead. So another tricky thing when it comes to eyes, other than the irises and the sclera, is the reflection on set eyes. Because, you know, there tends to be like a shadow just below the eye lines. So even if the light source is coming from above, you cannot make the reflection overlap with the shadow. That shadow be below the eye line. It would look very weird, and it doesn't happen that way in real life as well, from what I noticed. But I could be blind. But yeah, no, seriously, don't do that. Be careful with the highlights of the eyes. And then final adjustment, I'm just gonna change, nope, too strong of a color. Nope, still too strong. I'm gonna dull it a little. Just gonna add like random streaks of green. Should probably use a lighter brush, so it doesn't look like there are random, so it doesn't look like there's dirt in his eyes, you know. I think it's still too green, so I'm gonna change it again. or I guess I can just overlap it, so there are 3 different colors on his eyes, on his irises. What is the term for like, oh, you know, layering very wide range of colors, like dynamic colors? Is it called? I believe it is, but could be wrong. I think it's a bit too up. By too up, I mean too high up. This part is a bit too high up. And should I add it on the lighting layer? Just very, very small light color, small strokes. I think they should be pure white. It doesn't change that much. I think because of the layer mode. Maybe I can add it on the highlight layers instead. Hold on. I'm gonna use the soft pencil. I only wanted to add it right here, just below the biggest light reflection on his eyes. Alright. Yeah, I think the navigator looks fine. I mean, he looks fine in the navigator view. I may have accidentally erased the part on the lips when I was doing my sweeping stroke. Ooh, now it's too bright. Hold on. I can fix this. I think I'll just do the background offline. Yeah, that's my only task left. I believe I wanted to draw him kind of like standing below like a cherry blossom tree or any other tree. I'm gonna have to think carefully for the colors, or maybe I just end up with basic background again, but it is okay. I think that's it. I am tired. and it's 20 minutes to midnight here, so I think I have to stop. Alright, thank you for watching. I will stream again on Friday, same time. Whether it's this artwork again or not, you have to wait, but that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.